Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Equipment for Living Off Grid or Social Distancing. This is episode 3, and if you remember in episode 2, we talked about the Echo 58-volt cordless string trimmer, and one of the big features that we liked about that was that it had this coupler right here in the middle of the shaft, which meant you could swap out different attachments and you could run a lot of the attachments made for the gas powered PAS system. And one of the attachments that we like to use with the 58-volt Echo cordless string trimmer is this cultivator attachment. Now, what we like about this combination and what makes it great for living off grid, or if you're just trying to social distance yourself, is the fact that, as we mentioned in our second video, this Powerhead is a 58-volt cordless unit. So you don't have to make that trip out to the gas station. If you have a wind turbine, solar panels, or any source of electricity, you can simply plug in this charger and put the battery in it and charge this thing up, and it's ready to go. Also, with this cultivator attachment, that means you can just go out there and start tilling up an area and plant some of your own crops. So you're going to cut down on your trips to the grocery store as well. This Echo cultivator attachment has tines that are easily replaceable if you would actually wear them out, and it uses a 42-to-1 gear reduction box. As far as the actual tilling width, it's about 6.5 inches to 7 inches, somewhere in there. It's going to be close to what you would get from a Manus tiller or the Echo TC210 or one of those other mini cultivators, just a little bit narrower than one of those. Now, you're probably thinking, well, this all sounds well and good on paper and in theory, but just because you can hook those two units together doesn't mean that it's actually going to do the job, right? Well, let's go see what it'll do. Now, to keep you from being bored to death and falling asleep, we're going to speed this up a little bit. And you'll see this is doing a great job, this cultivator attachment on this 58-volt trimmer. We do snag a big rock here in just a few seconds that jams between the tines and the guard, which was just a matter of loosening up the guard to get it out of there then. And, we're right back to work. It's tearing everything up. There is rocks and stones and tree roots in here and weeds, and it's making light work of all of it. And again, this thing has two speeds on it, so you can run it on high or low, depending if you want high torque or you want high speed. But either way, it does a great job. You can see here, there's just nothing really phasing it other than we got that rock stuck in it. Here's the area where we were using this 58-volt Echo cordless power head with the cultivator attachment, and it just did a great job tilling this up. You can come in here with a rake now and get all these pieces of weed and these stones and rocks out of here and pieces of tree root and other roots out of here, and you got some nice loose soil to start your seeds and your flowers in. So what about an area like this where you have some grass growing, and this is under some pine trees, so there's pine needles, there's grass, there's weeds, there's tree roots, and say you wanted to plant some flowers under here or get something else going or just kind of clean this up. Well, here you go. We're going to sink this thing in and see what it does in an area like this. So here's this spot we were just digging at. You saw that thing bouncing around a good bit because there's a lot of rocks, stones, and things like that in the ground here, and some big old pine tree roots. You can see it broke right through them. So this was some tough stuff here, and there is a lot of stone and rock down in there. But, it did the job. It's got this soil here all loosened up. And if we wanted to keep going here, we could eventually get all that stuff kicked out and plant something in there. But now this is where we use this attachment the most. This is in our garden, and this was an area that was rototilled in the spring the year before this. So there was plants in here of some sort, and we put a bunch of leaves in here when we collected the leaves with the bagger on a tractor and had them all shredded up in there. So now we need to get everything kind of stirred up and get the soil loosened up so we can get this ready to plant in this area right here. And what's nice about this is we can just do a small area like this, just like if you would have a Manus cultivator or the Echo TC210, but you have a little bit better control over this attachment here. So we can get closer to plants that are already in there, get between plants that are already in there, and just get the soil loosened up and get the weeds out of the way. This also works great if you have your plants in nice rows and you get those weeds growing in the middle. You can just take this right down through them and chop those weeds up and get them out of the way without worrying about just throwing those weeds all over the place in your garden and spreading them around. So this is our area in our garden here that we just did. And again, tons of rocks and stones and just all kinds of stuff in here. But you can see it really did the job. Chewed all this stuff up nice and fine, and everything's loose there. We can plant our plants. Really can't ask for much more than that. This is the same kind of job that a gas powered Manus or Echo or steel cultivator would do. So no trips to the pump, and we still got the same kind of outcome here with our soil. All right, one more demonstration here of the performance of the Echo cultivator attachment when being ran with the Echo 58-volt cordless Powerhead. You can see the area that we're in, lots of rocks and stones. We're right next to a tree. There's tree roots coming through there. There was briars, there was weeds, there's sticks down in there, and this thing is just ripping right through it. Now, this video is being ran at 2.5 times the normal speed, just so you guys don't fall asleep from watching me till up this area, but you get the idea. Pretty much everywhere we have tried this thing, it has worked great. The really impressive part is that it didn't matter if we ran this thing in high speed or low speed, it still did the job. So by now you probably get the idea. This thing does a great job. It's a real simple attachment to use. It's very versatile. You can use it in flower beds, gardens, and plenty of other places. And you can use it with the gas Powerhead, the PAS 2620, the PAS 225, and some of the older models of Powerheads, and of course the cordless 58-volt Powerhead like you saw us using in the video here. The great thing about that option is you don't have to go out for gas, and pretty much anybody can use it because it's just a matter of hooking the attachment onto the Powerhead, putting the battery into the Powerhead, and squeezing the trigger. Now, we're not going to try to hide the fact that you will pay a little bit more up front for this cultivator attachment and this trimmer setup here. And it'll be the same way whether you bought this battery powered unit or you bought the PAS 225, PAS 2620 Powerhead and a string trimmer attachment and the cultivator attachment, unless you caught one of those special deals that Echo has going on every now and then. But either way, it's still going to cost you more than a Manus tiller, but you've only got one Powerhead to service then and maintain. And again, with the 58-volt option, pretty much anybody can use it. So not only is this great for living off grid and social distancing, but it's a great way for somebody who's elderly and can't pull the rope to get their trimmer started or their Manus tiller started to be able to go out there and maintain that independence. They can go out there and all they got to do is squeeze the trigger on this thing and it's ready to roll. So now the next thing you're probably going to wonder about is the runtime when you're using a cultivator like this, because you think it probably takes a lot of power to run that. Well, with all the stuff we were doing right there, we have the 4.0 amp hour battery that we use in this Powerhead, and all that we did running that cultivator plus one other spot we ran it used half of the battery power. There's 4 lights on there, 4 LEDs, and by the time we were done, there was still 2 of them lighting up. So for the amount of work that we did with this cultivator attachment using that Powerhead, that's some pretty good runtime there. That would have been at least one tank of gas through a Manus cultivator, if not more. Now, if you're interested in purchasing the Echo cultivator attachment for the PAS system or the Echo 58-volt cordless string trimmer or any other Echo equipment or attachments, all you have to do is go onto the Echo website and use their dealer locator to find a place near you to go purchase this stuff. You can also find it online through certain websites or dealer websites and have it shipped directly to your door or to the closest location to your door, depending on how far off the grid and away from civilization you live. That's going to do it for this episode of Equipment for Living Off Grid or Social Distancing. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and thanks for watching.